Okay, we should be live now.
Yay!
So welcome everybody. Let's see.
I just got a notification that you are
We
live.
are live. Perfect. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. I'm just like getting on YouTube and I can already see like everybody already doing reviews for Crescent City. I'm like,
oh, so I guess people just got them like so early that they've already read it and are doing like, well, I guess it was released today, so I guess technically you can put out reviews now, but like, I don't know, I feel like that's kind of mean because I just bought it. Let me grab it.
I know, and I even had it early, and I didn't let myself read it early because I had other book club books that I had to read first.
I like got home from work and I had like an hour and a half before the live show. So I like quickly got ready and then I was like, I have to go to Target and get the book. So like Kevin and I raced to go get it. And sorry. Yeah, so we raced to go get it and now I have it. She hefty.
Oh yeah, she is thick. Yeah.
Although yours looks thicker than mine.
Probably, I don't because maybe because it's a paperback. I don't know. How many pages does your like the final copy have?
I don't want to spoil. Let's see. 803.
I only have 799. You have 3 more pages than I do.
Wait. No, those are acknowledgements. 7. Hang on. 799.
Okay,
exactly.
Okay,
799.
So you guys don't know, Crescent City is Sarah J. Maas's brand new adult fantasy, and this is our Muggle Studies book club pick for. We're taking 2 months since she is so thick. So in April. So like beginning of May, we'll probably do the next live show, and that'll be over on Gabby's channel for Crescent City. But we're very excited. I'm so excited to literally jump into this.
I'm so excited.
As soon as possible. Like I have everything else done that I needed to read. So now this is getting my full attention, and this is going to be my next reading vlog.
Do you know if is that an arc or is that just a new version? Like a
No, this is an arc.
Okay. Do you know if it differs a lot?
I don't. I haven't heard anything that it was like very different, but I'm sure that'll come out if that is the case.
Like the time where we read the arc of Escaping from Houdini and it was like completely different endings.
Yep. Well, I don't think the overall ending was different, but it was like leading up bits were different.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll find out when we do our live show if I have different things to say than you do.
Oh my gosh, I know. I just texted that we're live.
Cool. You mean on Twitter?
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh. So this is next book club pick. And today we are talking about The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper.
Yes. This is his debut novel.
Yes, and super easy to binge. Also really tiny. Like, look at the difference. Very different.
So I was really shocked because the audiobook is like 8 hours long.
I know, and it does not look like an 8-hour book.
I know. I was like, I can't remember the last time I listened to an audiobook that was only 8 hours.
So this one only has how many pages?
Like
300? 307.
Yeah.
So very tiny book, especially for us.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you rate it?
I rated it a 4 out of 5 stars.
Same. So I was like, I'm teetering on like a 3.75, but I mean, it was enough to bump it up to a 4.
Yeah. I think it was a solid 4. Solid 4 for me.
Okay.
It was really cute.
So do you want to talk about, is there parts you liked, parts you disliked? Like what was your overall?
Yeah. So I think, so it's interesting because for a book being so tiny, like 307 pages, there is so much to talk about. I had so many thoughts with this book. I loved the science and the NASA part. So I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I have a thing for like space and science. So I have a thing for like college settings and like, well, no, I think I've mentioned before space. Like I love sci-fi. I love books set in space. And one of my favorite movies is Apollo 13. Apollo, is it Apollo? Yeah, Apollo 13 or 11.
I think it's 13.
It's 13. I'm like mixing because I know they made one that's like a horror movie. I can't remember, but like I adore that movie. I love like The Martian. I love any movie that is with space. I watch so many times. So anyways.
Are you a Star Trek fan? Hold up.
What?
Are you a Star Trek fan?
Oh yeah.
Have we never discussed this?
Oh yeah. Star Trek, Star Wars. Oh yeah. Huge fan.
What? I don't think I've ever known that about. Did you know that I like that?
I think so, yeah.
Because I feel like you knew that, like, I have a thing for Spock. Not Leonard Nimoy. I would like to point out, not Leonard Nimoy.
Oh, no, the one in, like, the new
Zachary
movie?
Quinto, yeah.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Yeah. How funny. I don't think I ever knew that you were a Star Trek fan.
Well, and I actually watched the show, like, the original shows, too. And so, yeah, I love space. Anything with space, I adore. Especially, like, the new movie that came out with, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. The guy from The Notebook, Ryan Gosling, where he plays
what movie?
What's it called?
And I know you've talked about it before because you really liked Heart of Iron, and we've talked about it with Illuminate and stuff too.
Yeah.
So, do you like it when it's focusing on going into space, but we're still on the ground, like this one, or when we're actually in space? What do you prefer?
Both. I think I prefer more the space element, like actually in space. But I really, really love when like all the NASA stuff. Like I love visiting NASA, like just being from Texas. Yes, we are nerds. I've gone to NASA multiple times, and yeah, it's great. First Man, that's what it's called. First Man.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, where he plays Neil Armstrong. Yeah, I really.
Which that makes sense why you
really good.
Didn't like Skyward as much as you liked Jay Kristoff's. Where the hell is it? What's Jay Kristoff's book?
Aurora Rising.
Yes, that makes sense because Aurora Rising actually took part in space and Skyward was more on the ground.
Yeah, which is why I love the Illuminate files so much. It's just so cool. Anyways, so and I love NASA. I have a thing about it. And like, I watch documentaries on like spaceships, and I went to like, anyways, so the whole NASA aspect was so cool. So freaking cool.
I really liked the social media aspect of this too. That he was part of social media, but also it kind of took a light on it of what is appropriate for social media and what's not, and how damaging or positive it can be depending on what type of light you use it in. Yeah. So I really liked that take on it. And that was kind of, overall, besides it just being like a fluffy rom-com of a book, I think that was the most that I could take away from that, was when to use exposure and when not to use exposure, and the power that social media can have. Yeah. And I like that it kind of had that overall message, because I mean, like, what the hell is the message in Anna and the French Kiss? Like, not that I'm shading that book, like, what?
Sorry, cheating.
Yeah, exactly. Like how shitty cheating is. Thank you for this enlightenment. But like,
no, like it condones cheating.
Oh yeah, a bit. Yes and no, because we saw like aftermaths of it and things like that. That it wasn't just like peachy keen for the people. But yeah, there's not like a good overall message. So I liked that even though it was a contemporary, we're still getting some type of message sent across. How do you think this compared with Homo Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda?
So it's interesting because I was thinking the same thing. So it's interesting that you say that, they're both so different, because Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda and a lot of other books like like male male, female female romances, a lot of it is like a coming out story. We didn't get that in this.
No,
like,
and I appreciate that so much.
they're already out, they're already gay, like they know what they want. And
a bit. We had a little bit of turmoil with that.
Yeah, a little bit. But it's very interesting how like they've already accepted that they're gay, essentially. Like neither of them were like, oh, I don't want to be with you because I'm not sure. You know what I mean? But there wasn't like their families already knew, everyone kind of already knew. It was just out in the open. And it was very interesting because you don't read a lot of books like that, because most of them have the whole thing is about coming out and acceptance and all of that. And like, not necessarily hiding your relationship, but figuring out how you want to come out, essentially, you know what I mean? And this, it was like, there was no, like, I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was refreshing.
Agreed. And I liked that there was no negative backlash because they were gay. Like the whole turmoil around it was that he was potentially using the other one for clout, basically. And it wasn't that they were gay. It was that he was just being like a shitty person in a relationship, essentially. Like that's what they were trying to portray it as. It had nothing to do with the fact that they were two boys. And I really liked that we were evolved enough in this book.
Yes.
Even though that doesn't necessarily reflect the United States or the world in general, but I liked, at least in this book, that we had progressed enough to not care if they were the same sex and they were in a relationship. So I really liked that aspect of it. Even though we still have, I mean, we have to have a turmoil in somewhere in it. I also really liked the way that they handled mental illness in this.
Yes, I did too. A lot.
And like, I think that's a really good message to send across teens who are primarily reading this, or young adults, that you can't fix someone else's mental illness. And even though what you want to do can have a negative effect, even if you're trying to be positive, that can have a negative effect on their mental illness. And I really like that message was being talked about, because I think that's really important. I think a lot of people, especially in young relationships, are trying to fix one another or trying to be all for someone else. And they need to learn that they can't do that. And this is a great example of what you can do to be there for one another without hindering their mental illness progress. Like when he didn't kiss him, but he kissed his knee at the end. Like, it was just like a really sweet moment of like, I still want to be here for you, but I don't want to be overtaken and try to fix you type of thing. And I really liked that message through there. And I just think that's really important to have in books like this.
Yeah, I agree. And also it's really interesting to see the parent with mental illness, because the only other book that I can actually, I'm sure I've read some, but the only other one that actually stands out where I felt like the author did a really good job of portraying mental illness with parents was Fangirl.
Yes. And how mental illness from a parent has a direct effect on how a child grows up and how much that affects them. Yeah. And I really liked that, especially at the end when the parents decided to do therapy. And I love that message in there of saying, you know what's going on, and we should have been there. Like, this isn't something that you should have come to us saying you were uncomfortable with. We are the parents. We should have seen it. And I've never seen that in a book.
Yeah.
And I really liked that was the representation, and also saying, like, telling people who are in that position, saying, this isn't your job to advocate for yourself if your parents are putting yourself in that position. That's not how things are supposed to work. And especially in YA, like people come into work and ask for recommendations for their kids. And I say, like, if you're not comfortable with parental things not being healthy, or that like there's a death of parent or things with that, that's most of my books in the young adult section. So it's like, it's really good that you still see the turmoil of mental illness in here and how it affects a child, but also how the parents can then handle it in a correct way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really like that support was given at the end, that this wasn't on you to fix, this wasn't on you to speak up for.
Yeah.
This was on us, and we're going to do things right now. And I really liked that message too. The more I talk about it, the more I like, my rating is going up in my head.
It's such a good book. Yes, there were some problems with it. It was problematic, but like, I adored it. And like, part of me felt like maybe it was a little like they moved kind of quickly with the romance, but you know, all books do. And when you're thrown in a situation where not everyone is in the same situation as you, and you only have a handful of people that essentially like can go through exactly what that knows what you're going through, you tend to click more with them and you share those experiences more. So the fact that like Kat, Leon, Cal, they were really the only kids their age going through this with like just a few,
it makes tighter bonds.
Exactly. So I can understand it wasn't necessarily I don't think it was insta love. I definitely think they had a crush on each other and then their like relationship grew. But I felt that it was very plausible, especially like 17-year-old teens in love.
Totally.
I totally was like, you know, I could see this happening 100%. And then also I was actually really shocked. I felt like this was less of a love story and more of because like you think it's a love story and it kind of is, but the amount of scenes that we actually have between Leon and Cal, it's more just Cal's story of like,
I agree,
of his move, dealing with like people with mental illness around him, figuring out how to like, you know, not be so controlling, figuring out his career, what he wants, managing social media. It was very, very much him with a little bit of a romance in it. And I kind of liked that.
Yeah, it was more of like
surprised. I was ready for like a full-on romance story, and that's definitely not it.
What did you think about the way that Cal handled things with his friend back home and how that played out?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand, like, at first I thought he was kind of being a little bit of an asshole, but then like I could understand it. Like, he's stressed, he's going through so much, and he ended up growing up. Like, he had some development where he, you know, eventually called her, they apologized, everything was okay. And I think he just needed to branch out from his life in Brooklyn and meet other people. I don't know. I feel like you have a different thought.
So I really liked how it played out between those two. I think we saw that it was him finding himself and how that has ramifications on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's another story that needs to be told, is that you need to do what's good for you, but that you also have to recognize that that's also going to have ripple effects on people around you. Yeah. And it did. We saw how it hurt her to be broken up with and to see him go to a guy. But also it came full circle with her because she realized that she needed to stand on her own. And I think that was an important message too, that it ties in with, you can't be someone's everything, because that's not how it works. And that's not healthy. And I think especially kids at that age of 17 need to understand that. And I'm hoping that this isn't going to be too unrealistic. I think I like worry of it because I think they're the ones who would think that they can be someone's everything, that they're going to look at this and be like, oh, I didn't like this book, because it's basically telling them the truth of like growing up, of you can't be. Yeah. So I would be interested to see how this is going to be received with a younger generation that's at that age range, and to see different maturity levels, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, how many people are you still friends with from high school?
You know? Yeah. I mean, it totally depends on proximity. I did move halfway across the country.
That's
So, I
true.
mean,
Which is essentially the very same with them. He ended up moving across the country.
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
essentially in touch with like one person.
Yeah.
From high school.
And that's okay.
Like, yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, and I would rather have, I mean, it's just what happens. It's funny because like when you are in high school and in junior high, when you're younger, you think you're going to be friends for life, like you said, but you grow up, things change. You're definitely not the same person as you were. I mean, sheesh, that was like,
let's not go there.
Ago? What?
Let's not go with it. Like,
I know, a long
calculate.
time ago since then. And yeah, definitely not the same person. And yeah, so like I said, I only keep in contact with like one person, which is okay. I'm fine with just talking to him.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, you also have to realize the same thing with the NASA connections that they all made is what is true friendship and what is in proximity friendship.
Right.
Friendship for survival. I definitely, I mean, I still have fond memories of the people that I was friends with in high school.
Yeah.
Whether or not we would still be friends now if I was in the same proximity is another story, because I looked back and how much we actually have in common. I definitely would still be friends with some of them if I were, still lived next to them,
Yeah.
But a lot of them would be, I really didn't have anything in common with you besides that I was right next to you. And we found a friendship because the proximity was there, but that was it,
Yeah. Yeah. And just life, and you get busy, and like you said, out of sight, out of mind. So sometimes it's hard to keep in touch with people.
Yeah.
So
I think this is definitely one that I will be moving forward to recommend to a lot of people, because I think it's going to be good for kids, especially if it's parents coming in to look for books. The only thing is, like, yes, I love that it is a male-male romance. I love that it is a same-sex couple, that the main character is bi. I love all that representation. The problem with that is it's going to make it harder for me to recommend it to parents, unfortunately, because parents aren't as evolved as we would like them to be. But I can definitely recommend this to kids, because I think they would be a lot more accepting of that.
Yeah. And the sorry, I was gonna say the romance isn't overly graphic.
No, not at all.
It's so damn cute.
Yes.
So cute. I loved it. We got just enough heat there. Yeah, I thought it was really sweet.
So earlier you mentioned that there are things that were problematic in this. What type of things were you alluding to? Problematic.
I guess maybe and I think it's more of like my being upset with it, not the book, but just like Cal's dad had a lot. I mean, he did eventually grow on me at the very end, but I felt like he was just, I didn't really like him.
I agree.
At all. So that really bothered me. I don't know, actually. Maybe I felt like maybe we didn't get enough relationship, but now that I think about it, I like it. So I also have on the synopsis, because it's like the author doesn't get to choose her synopsis. I feel like it's well,
this is a guy.
Well, I mean, it's not really okay. So it's not really a love. The synopsis doesn't necessarily say it's that much of a love story, so that's good.
I had a problem with how the mom handled things. I do like that we got the representation at the end of saying, like, we didn't handle this correctly. But like at that moment when he was saying, I just want to be, I just want to say I need her, and he sucked it up and was like, I put on a brave face, and the dad took priority over the kid, and he had to, I just felt
that bothered me so much.
Heartbroken. Yeah, in that moment. Because he was the one who had to I don't know, like, because, you know, I've had that conversation before of, like, who's the more important, your spouse or your child? But
Child?
yeah, but I've had that conversation go both ways of saying your
Yeah.
spouse needs to be your number one and continually to be your number one, and you're both caring for your child. But it's also like, in that situation, this is, again, your child who is still developing,
Mm-hmm.
and for them to be pushed aside so you can take care of another grown-ass adult, like,
Yeah.
you should be able that's not I don't think that would be putting your child above your significant other, like your husband.
Yeah.
That would be, I will get to you, I have to take care of our kid.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still gonna be there to support you, but look at what this is doing to our kid.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And I don't think that's the book's fault. I think that's just the character that
Oh,
she
yeah.
wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot. Honestly, the mom was my least favorite. Like you said, like Cal just walked on eggshells so much around her. And like, I don't know, maybe I can't really comment too much because I can't understand like how severe her anxiety is. But I had the feeling that like Cal was more of the parent a lot, you know, for her, because I don't know, you know what I mean? Like he was always comforting her and like
He was putting her needs above his.
exactly. And like you said, I don't know, but I don't have kids and I don't have really severe anxiety, so it's maybe I'm not really one to comment.
And I agree with that. Like, as someone who's been put into that position where I've been the parent to a parent before, I really liked that, seeing that representation in this book, because it made me feel like other people have been in that position. So I really liked seeing that. And I think it's very realistic. I think it's portrayed very similarly to how I grew up as well, as taking care of a parent with a mental illness. And it makes you definitely grow up faster because of that aspect of it. And I really liked seeing that. My problem is that I didn't like that the dad. Where was the dad? So I didn't dislike the mom. I disliked the dad because the dad, like, he was only focused on himself through the whole thing.
He really was. He was super selfish.
Job. Yeah, he took the job for him, and without checking in with his family. He didn't think about how that was going to affect his wife with all of her mental illnesses. And it didn't think about the ramifications that's going to be for the kid. And it's like, when his mom was going through something, where was the dad? And that is totally, and I mean, that's why Cal Jr. had to step up to take care of the mom, because the dad was not being supportive on that side to help out the mom. So it's like, yet the mom was still so focused on Cal Sr. on taking care of him. And it's just, there was no balance there. And it's like, why wasn't the dad more of a role for the mom to be the support system? Why was that necessary? Why was there a vacant spot for Cal Jr. to have to fulfill? And that made Cal Jr. neglected, because he had to step into that role, because he saw that and he was caring about his mom, that she needed that. He could recognize that. And it's like, well, that's a really shitty relationship. Yeah. And I'm glad that they moved forward with the getting therapy and things like that. And I'm glad that it ended on that note. But I mean, I also would have been okay with them getting a divorce, because that's not a healthy relationship. And I wish we could have seen his mom recognize that a little bit more and see, this isn't healthy and this isn't balanced. And I think that would have been really powerful to see in a book too, that not all divorces are evil. Like, a lot of people have that assumption. And I think if we got to see, this is why a divorce is good, that you can get out of an unhealthy situation. That could have been a really powerful message as well. But overall, I think this book did so many things right and so much well represented that I think this book is definitely needed on the market.
I agree with everything you said. Also, I thought it was kind of shitty that like his dad was like, "Oh, you're taking my spotlight," and I'm like,
Yes.
dude, are you kidding? Like, your kid is doing something amazing here. Like, yes, like obviously you're doing something amazing too. Like, who can say they get to be an astronaut? Like, that's really, really freaking cool. But like, your 17-year-old is essentially like doing all of this
Social media
amazing
star.
stuff. Like, he uprooted his life for you. He had to essentially like stop. Well, he was supposed to stop, but he had to change his entire career path, kind of, you know.
And give up opportunities because he had opportunities in New York that he didn't have.
The BuzzFeed thing, yeah. So he had to give up opportunities. He had to uproot his life that he only knew. I mean, as a 17-year-old boy,
That's a whole thing.
that is huge for them. Like being uprooted from like the only friend you have, that is very, starting a new school as a senior. That's huge. And the fact that like his videos are like finally he's doing, I don't know. It just kind of like upset me that his dad was like mad that like people cared about his son. You know what I mean?
Which is, again, another shitty nod to, like, you are not a good parent.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like he came around in the end because he was like, I'm really proud of you. Like he came around. I think it just took a lot of, yeah.
Do you think that he came around because it was in favor for him? Like, it was working out to save his job? Or do you think he would still be proud of him if it didn't work?
No, remember he went into his room and he said he was proud of him whether or not it works. Like this is before they did, like Cal had an idea. So this is when he was still thinking that like the project was done, I believe. Like they were going to cancel, like shut down Orpheus 5 and shut down the project and cut funding. He said, I'm proud of you. So I think he finally came around.
I don't know. I'm not as accepting of his redemption arc.
No, I'm not either. Like I'm trying to be. But she left it open-ended to where there could be some really good growth. I'm sorry. You're right. I knew that. I knew it was a he. He left it. I like that. And I thought that was great. Can we talk about Showstoppers? Is that what it's called? Star Stoppers?
No, it's Shooting Stars.
Shooting Stars. Like, first of all, the audiobook, so good.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh my gosh, it's like a full cast of characters. I was not expecting it. Like you get the music, like the news music before it airs
articles and things.
Exactly. Yeah. You have the different accents, different voices. I really enjoyed the audiobook. Like I listened to it in like one sitting.
Yep. Did you like the add-in of Cal being kind of backlashed in the community and like the social media world and like them trying to take down a 17-year-old boy?
I feel like a lot of people do that. A lot of people. Like I can think of, I feel like it was a little dramatic. What
was her name?
Kiara.
Yes. Were you surprised that Kiara kind of like went after him?
No, because the second she was introduced, I was like, she's gonna be a bitch. I was like, oh, she two-faced.
Yeah, I know, but I was kind of expecting. I don't know. She was very helpful on several occasions and like real with him. So I was a little surprised that she flipped at the very end and was like trying to do like an expose on him and things like that. But also I'm like, well, that's her job.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wasn't.
I was a little surprised.
Yeah, I wasn't. I figured like the first time they talked to each other, I was like, dude, no. I'm like, she's gonna repeat everything you say. I
didn't catch that. Like I felt like she knew what the right thing was and what the morals were, and then
Mm,
she just kind of like got bought out at the very end. I
yeah.
didn't think that she had bad intentions until the end part where
Mhm.
she was going to lose her job, and that's when she decided to use things against him. I didn't think she was evil off the bat.
Yeah. Well, here's my other thought. If she has contacts at like Teen Vogue and Condé Nast and all that, why is she not working for them?
Totally.
I don't understand that. She's got contacts to all of these like amazing people and is able to get Cal like an internship at the end. Why isn't she working for them? She's like talking about how like real world sucks and she's stuck with the job she hates, yet she has like all these great contacts. I'm like, go get yourself an interview. What are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So that was a little unrealistic on that part too.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. So
Maybe she just didn't have the following or like the, I guess, resume that Cal does, because Cal had viral videos, he had access to it, he had the channel, like
maybe. Yeah,
also
but they always need people behind the scenes at other places too. Like she was essentially the producer.
Well, she interviewed Cal. She was interviewing them. I think she was like an anchor.
That's true. But like all of those like things need that. So like she doesn't necessarily have to have viral videos to work. Like you need someone to produce, you need someone to edit, you need a whole bunch of people to like make the company run. Maybe easier than done.
Were you expecting the death to happen?
No.
I wasn't either. I was really surprised that took that much of a turn.
I thought it was gonna, and you know what? I thought it was gonna be Grace.
I like the way that it ended up of who it was.
Me too. I would have been really sad.
He's already a jerk.
What?
He's already a jerk.
Yeah, he kind of was.
Because he was like, we're never gonna work. Me and your dad are never gonna work together because like,
oh no.
And, like I'm just like, oh, he's a slime ball. Like, God.
I know. Yeah.
So where does this rank on your list of contemporaries? Since you are not as of a contemporary person as I am.
Right. I thought this was so cute. I would definitely recommend it. You know, the more we talk about it, the more I think I want to like increase my rating. 4.5? I don't know. There were so many good elements to it. I thought I still can't get like, I'm loving the refreshing aspect of just the fact that like their sexual orientation was not the main focus, and it wasn't
the plot point.
It wasn't the drama. There was no drama about it. It was like, this is what it is. This is a matter of fact. And I thought that was so great. Like you said, it was so evolved, especially for a place like Texas. Texas is a little more conservative. And yes, there are definitely people here that accept it. And there are some people here that are a little more closed-minded. And, you know, being in New York, I feel like obviously being
way more accepted.
Exactly. Versus moving down here. So but like that was never a factor. And I thought it was so cute when his mom was like, oh honey, I didn't realize you two were maybe a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, go hang out. And I was just like, I don't know. I loved it. It was like, okay, do you remember the movie Love, Simon?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think it's in the book, but in the movie they say, why is being heterosexual the default?
Mm-hmm. I think that is in the book too.
Oh, does it? Okay. Yeah. Like I remember that scene, and it's saying like, why do people have to come out as like same sex? Why can't they come out and say like,
I'm straight.
I'm straight. Exactly. And it just that, I don't know. I felt like maybe being gay was the default in this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there was no question about it.
Yeah. On another note, I have a very have you watched the Netflix show Love is Blind?
No, but I need to. I've seen you talk about it like on
Twitter. Okay, so there is one particularly bad part that's like there's not necessarily one of the characters, because it is definitely that type of show, that is they are not, I don't want to spoil anything, but they're not straight.
What's it about?
Why? And the other person wasn't as accepting, and the whole kerfuffle with that is that
Good word.
They were surprised. The partner was surprised that they weren't straight, and it's like, why? And the other person was saying they were getting mad that they didn't disclose that they were bi, like up front. And I'm like, one, why does that matter? What does that have anything to do with their attraction to you? And two, why is straight the default? And I got so mad at that point of contention in this show, and that felt the very similar thing of what you just said too, of that shouldn't be the default. Gay straight is not the default anymore, and the more that we accept that, the better off we all are going to be. And it also like takes away some of the hurt of people being like, oh, you're not, that should never have been a conversation, because that is, no one is in a default. Everybody's different.
Exactly.
So, like, exactly. I like that we're getting more of these types of stories.
Yes, especially when like Kat was like, he thinks you're cute. And I'm like, oh, we're jumping right in.
Yes.
Okay then. I love it. So Love is Blind. It's very so. Have you ever seen Married at First Sight?
I think so.
Okay. It's very similar. It's a social experiment where like experts match you up with another person, but you actually get married.
Oh yeah, that's totally the show.
They get engaged in this one. Okay, in the other one, they actually are married.
No, they're getting married.
They're getting married? Okay. Well, in the other one, they meet at the altar.
Oh yeah, it's not that extreme.
Okay. Married at First Sight, they meet at the altar.
So in this show, they are in a room and they all talk, but they're in a private room, and so they're talking through a wall, so they can have these conversations with them, and then they propose to whoever they want to marry without actually meeting them, and then they meet.
Oh, guess what I'm doing tonight?
And then they spend time with each other. It's so cringy.
Dave, we're gonna have to wait.
It's so cringy though, like bad.
Is it?
And
I need to watch it.
It's not all out. It like the episodes are still releasing.
No, it says it's all out.
No, it's new episodes weekly. So I have to do that
so the reunion is available March 5th, which is essentially in 2 days. Yeah, there's no way I'm watching all of this in 2 days anyways, so perfect. Oh, I'm gonna love you.
That's gonna be go play games. It's fine. Is there anything else that you want to talk about before we wrap up this live show?
Let's see. Oh, there's so much. I love this book.
It's so funny that
I really did like it now that I think about it. What?
Yeah. Before the live show, I was like, nothing was super special about this one. Like, I liked it, but it wasn't like anything mind-blowing. But the more we analyze it, the more I realize what, pick apart the different things that are represented are so needed in this genre that it's like, it definitely makes it up to the top there.
And I think you hit it straight on when you talked about the social media aspect of it. Social media can be it can be really bad, like good and bad, but like not everyone is respectful on social media. And I like how professional he was on it. You know what I mean? And like how star shooters stole some clips of him, and he was like, why didn't you just ask me? Like,
yes,
like I would have said yes, but like you need to ask for permission for my stuff. That's just what any professional would do.
Yes.
And I thought that was very grown up of him.
And he even says that, like, be a professional.
Exactly. Yeah. And like, I think he's great in how he doesn't monetize his videos, and he's really doing it for something different. And not that monetization on videos is bad, and like ads and stuff. Like I watch videos on YouTube all the time with ads.
Yeah.
But which doesn't deter me, but
it's also the respect that content creators have. You know, if we had the respect from other areas in the world, we wouldn't need to monetize our, like, with ads on videos, because we would already be getting paid for the work that we're supplying people.
Exactly.
The content that we're supplying people. But people don't view content creators as people to be respected or professionals.
And the dad says that too. Like, I thought your videos were just something you did. I didn't think it was that big of a deal.
Exactly.
Until at the end, he realized, like, it's hard. Like, and I think we took it differently. Everyone that's going to read this book will have a different, will see it differently, but we read it as content creators. It's hard. Like, it is so hard. Like, we've been making videos for 5 years now, maybe 4 or 5 years. And it's actually funny because Kevin asked me today, like, how many subscribers do you have? And I'm like, you know what? I was like, honestly, I don't know. I haven't checked in a while. And he's like, oh, that's good. He's like, that means you're doing it really because you love it and not for the subscribers count. Granted, I would love to have more and like touch more people and have more people watch my video because it's gratifying, like knowing that you're putting so much hard work into something and people are enjoying it.
Yes.
So I can definitely understand, I love that aspect of it.
And I think that's like the fact that the content creators are treating you like he was treating other professionals as professionals. And he was saying, I just want the same respect.
Exactly.
And I like that we got to see that aspect of it too.
Yeah. And as a 17-year-old, I think and actually going back on what you said, do you think that they overdid it? Like, would they have really attacked in a 17-year-old? I think no, but because they were working with such a small pool and a small population that like shooting stars, shooting stars, Cal was just their easy default.
Well, and I think,
but I feel like that's a little unrealistic for like CNN to have been like, oh, star shoot. I keep wanting like, oh, they just like destroyed this 17-year-old, like on CNN. And I'm like, no, I don't know. Do you see like influencers on CNN?
No, but if you think about it, I think the content reach and like your social media reach supersedes how old you are. So if you are,
I agree,
tens of thousands of viewers, they don't care if you're a 17-year-old kid. You have the power, and that's all they're looking at. So it doesn't matter if they're attacking a child, even though that should matter. They're gonna do it anyway because look at your reach, look at the power you have, and so it's like
right. Which actually, that is interesting because technically 17, he's a minor.
Yeah.
So didn't they need like his parent permission to put them on, like use his content?
Well, but he's putting it onto a platform and the platform technically has rights over his content. So that's another thing.
Okay.
It's the same thing of like a 17-year-old putting content on YouTube. They have, as soon as you like put that on someone else's platform, they have the right. Like if you were to make your own, website and you're not using another like forum or whatever that you're posting your things on, then it would be more private. But because you're posting it on there, they get the permission.
Okay, because like part of me was thinking about that. I was like, he's a minor. So.
But it all comes down to morals of how you're treating content creators if you're not looking at them as professionals and how you're treating them. Because I think a lot, and especially because they're on screen, they have, people have different ideas about what is acceptable to do if you have, or you're a content creator. It erases a lot of things that shouldn't be erased.
Yeah. Really quick, did you want to talk about Leon? I don't think we really talked about him.
What about?
I felt like he was a little dry.
Really? Why?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know. Well, I think maybe it's because, no, not that I didn't like him. I liked him a lot. I don't know. Once again, maybe I can't comment because I don't suffer from depression like he does. But I don't know. I felt like he was a little dry. I would have liked to have gotten a little more, like I loved Kat. She was great. Loved her personality. I kind of wish we would have gotten a little bit more sass from him, maybe, but maybe that's his personality, though.
Yeah, you have to think what being in the spotlight does to you if you don't want to be in the spotlight, and how closed off and in turn you would turn if you don't want that spotlight, you don't want that attention. So you make yourself as small as possible so you're not having that attention on top of things.
Yeah, very, very true.
So I think he comes off more, I guess, like quiet and things like that.
Yeah,
because of that.
Yeah, and I guess
I did like that he didn't have his shit figured out like Cal did.
I
And
did
then
too.
it bothered Cal.
Yeah,
I like that we got to see that turmoil of being like, I can't make it better for him. And that was another like healthy relationship balance of them trying to figure that out. Is it's okay if I don't have my things figured out. You have to trust me. And I like that part of it too.
Yeah, I thought that was really good. I liked when he was Cal mentioned how they can have like passion, but he's also okay with like hanging out and watching a movie.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I like that. Can we talk about how they're going to UT? Like, great, but
odd.
They could have gone to A&M. Just saying.
I think that's a you issue here.
That is a me issue. That is definitely, yeah, for sure. That's why I docked it a whole point, because they went to UT, not A&M.
Well, is there anything else that you want to discuss before we wrap up the live show for The Gravity of Us?
I really liked it now. I really did.
I agree. So
are you gonna, I think I'm gonna leave it as a 4.
I think I'm gonna leave it as a 4 too, because I was already kind of like 3.75. So now it's like a solid 4 for me.
Yeah, I think it's a solid 4. I think if I were younger, it would be a 5. But I thought it was I think it's definitely up there on my young adult contemporary list. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So
this is going to be our next one for the beginning of May will be our live show for this.
Gorgeous.
Yes.
It's cute. I like it. It's not bad.
I like the inside cover better though. Did you guys have the artwork in it? Yeah.
Oh my.
Yep.
Orgasm.
Yep. So this is going to be the next one over on Gabby's channel, beginning of May. So stay tuned. Definitely look out for our reading vlogs. You're definitely going to get one from me. I'm sure Gabby's probably going to do one as well.
I already started it.
Yeah.
To go pick it up. So
this is our next one, and we will see you guys in our next video on Gabby's channel. So thank you guys for watching.
Thanks, guys. Bye.